Heroes, unite! First and foremost, as the title says, this is going to be about Slenderman. Now, I'm going to say it's not going to have some sort of scary footage or something, or a video of what looks like people running away from Slenderman, mainly because this, what I'm about to tell you, actually happened in a dream, and as everyone knows, for the time being, the only way you can record a dream is through your memory. Unless, of course, you and multiple people somehow shared a dream, and then, of course, that's still a mystery to science, but unless you actually had a dream, you're not going to know what's happened in said dream. But I wanted to say, first and foremost, I technically do believe in every single form of fictional monsters or mystical creatures. Essentially, like I've said in one of my other videos, I believe that every single thing that's considered fictional actually does exist somewhere in the omniverse. Now, where that somewhere is depends on actual individual being. But that means that even though I do believe that Slenderman exists, and all these mythological creatures like Slenderman, unicorns, leprechauns, Bigfoot, you name it, while I do believe they exist, I also believe they very rarely interact with humans. Mainly because, one, first and foremost, for the majority of these fictional beings, essentially things that would fall into the category of cryptozoology, for the majority of them, we humans have never actually had any solid evidence. I mean, we may see them, but seeing them and actually having physical or videographical evidence, I think I use that word right, I'm not really sure, is very rare. And majority of the time when we do get that stuff, everyone around us ends up essentially saying, oh, that's fake. It's not true. And in my opinion, the reason why I believe that most of the time we don't even see the creatures is because they're scared of us. I mean, let's be honest. Well, there are a lot of scary things about us humans. I mean, first and foremost, as far as I know, we're the only doggone living creature, at least in this reality, who can wield weapons like guns, missiles, bombs, you name it. Most other animals survive on literally nothing but their own body. I mean, seriously. Their fists and feet are about the only weapons, along with claws, teeth, and the occasional random body spikes that they have. While for us, we can use anything and everything we can get a hold of. About the only other animals that can do that would probably be apes and other forms of primates, including Bigfoot and Yetis and stuff. But, like the title is going to say, I did end up surviving an attack from Slenderman. Now, not going to go into full detail of what happened in the dream, mainly because I can't remember much of what happened. I mean, I know the part I'm going to mention is literally the tail end of it, but all I remember of the dream is that I was walking through the den. Somehow I dropped some oil from the back of my shirt and it landed on the floor. And I was looking all over the house to find my grandfather to tell him that the oil is on the floor and I don't know how to get the stain out. Kind of a normal dream, you might think. Well, that was until first I went to my grandparents' room, which is literally on the exact opposite of the house from where I am. But I found he wasn't in there. So I thought, oh, he must be back here on the computer doing some work. I come here, and then as I passed my room, I saw what looked like Slenderman in the corner. And I didn't bother looking back to check, because even while in a dream state, I I've actually done a few experiments in my dream, and majority of which are, can I remember what's going on in real life? And the answer is yes. Actually, a lot of times while I'm in a dream, while everything that's in my dream is happening, I'm also thinking, what am I going to do when I get up and stuff like that. So, and I even tried just a few days to a few weeks ago to see if it's possible to actually pray to God while you're in a dream. Turns out it is. But anyways, I found out that while I'm in the dream state, I can remember what happened in real life. And I remembered, if you see Slenderman, don't look at him, or he'll chase you. Well, I didn't mean to look at him intentionally. I just simply started walking to the back and was going to tell my grandfather boast about it. Oh, and I think Slenderman's in the house. And the second I came back to the back, my legs were about to give out on me, so I decided to, let's see if I can get this done right. See that corner back there? By the way, that's the sleeping bag that was on the back. I'm finally sleeping in my room, but that corner right there is where I was sitting. And then, well, that's when Slenderman came up, attacked me, and then I woke up. And it was really freaky because, first and foremost, usually, I've seen pictures of Slenderman. Usually he doesn't scare me. All the stories about him killing someone, that's not what scares me. What scares me, and in fact, I'm not even scared of dying for the general most part. But when that comes into the form of being killed inside your dream, yeah, of course I'm going to be freaking out. I mean, seriously. It's one thing when you're killed in real life. It's a whole nother story when you're killed in your dream. Mainly because from what I've seen, there is essentially a myth/legend, not really sure what it would be considered as, that if you die in your dream, you die in real life. And of course, if you're dead, you can't really prove whether something's true or not. So therefore, I have no idea if it's true, no idea if it's false. Now, personally, if I'm going to die, I'd much rather die from something like an insect sting or an arachnid bite or something. Just basically some sort of arthropod poisonous/venomous attack. Because I know they don't usually kill within a short amount of time. You usually have a few days or a few hours to a few months to still live, depending on what type of venom it is or what type of poison it is, the insertion point and all that, as well as the strengths, what arthropod it came from, where in the world it was from, the strength of your immune system, all that. So far, there have been no reported cases that it kills instantly. I mean, I don't even know of any that actually kill within just a few minutes, but either way, I would much rather choose that than a method of death that either makes you die quick and fast, or essentially, well, quick and fast is kind of the same thing, but excuse me. Quick and painful, or slow and painful, or even slow. Put simply, if I would have to choose, I'd choose slow and painless over virtually any other method. Not because I don't want to know that I'm dying. I don't mind knowing that I'm dying. It's just, well, due to me and the way my body is made, I'll just put it this way. I don't deal with pain that well. I mean, let's say I stub my toe. For me, it's going to cause probably 100 to 200% more pain than it would for the average person. So, Well, while I know I and every other human being and living being in existence, which this would even include God, has experienced some form of pain in their lifetime. But for me, my body takes a while to get rid of said pain. Even something like stubbing your toe, getting a headache, your nose being stopped up, stuff like that, it takes forever for my body to clear up, even with the help of medicine. So, because of that, if I were to choose how I was going to die, I'd preferably choose any method that has the least amount of pain. And preferably slow and painless, because then I would be able to spend time with my family, and of course, possibly complete whatever's left on my bucket list. Honestly, I don't even think there's many things left on my bucket list, because majority of the stuff that's even on it ends up, well, I don't know, getting taken off it almost about a year or two away from each other. Like today or yesterday, I can't even remember. One thing just got on my bucket list, and that is seeing icicles on the side of a house. I've never seen that before because where I live, it usually doesn't even get that cold. Let alone cold enough for icicles. I mean, it does sometimes get cold. Sometimes enough for it to snow, but so far in my life, it's only snowed about 3 times. First time, well, 3 to 4, maybe 5. Can't really remember. All I do know is the first time that's when we had the most snow, and that was when I was about 1 or so. And I know that not only because I remember it, but because my mom has told me about it many times, and I think my grandmother has too. But all I do remember is I was not able to go out. Now, why? I can't remember aside from my mom and grandmother telling me I had an ear infection or a cold. Last I remember, it was a cold because I tend to usually get colds around then. In fact, my first Halloween that I actually went trick-or-treating wasn't until I was 6 years old because I kept getting, well, colds. Can't exactly trick-or-treat when you're spending too much time trying not to cough on the people who are giving you the candy. But because of that, well, actually, I don't even know what I was trying to get at. But I do know this. If I were to choose between quick and painless, quick and painful, slow and painful, or slow and painless, I'd choose slow and painless. Regardless of if I knew I was going to die or not, I'd still choose that. That way I could spend time with my family and would actually be able to do something other than sitting down and essentially moping about how much time I have left. Now, while I will admit a lot of insect bites and stings would probably, well, cause a lot of pain, well, I'd much rather have that kind of pain than the pain of, I don't know, someone cutting a limb off or something crazy like that, or you getting electrocuted or something. I mean, being attacked by an insect to me is far less painful than essentially any other kind of pain you can think of. I mean, one time I will admit I actually sat in a fire ant bed and didn't even realize that I was even on a fire ant bed until they had bit me all the way from the tips of my toes to basically where my underwear is. And yeah, sorry about that graphic image, but had to be said. There's literally no other way I could describe that. Well, no other way that I know of, though. There may have been, I'm not really sure, but I don't know of any. But that was still far less painful than when I've actually burnt my finger in hot water. I mean, seriously, you know that's saying something. The entire ant bed was on my legs. Or at the very least, about half it. And then again, I didn't exactly spend the time counting each and every individual ant, seeing how big the ant bed was, and finding out how much fire ants are in a single ant bed. I mean, when you're getting stung like that, yeah, the last thing on your mind is counting every single one. In fact, the only thing on my mind was getting the doggone things off and getting inside the house as fast as possible. And basically, if you want to know specifically what happened, I was sitting down on the sidewalk talking to a neighbor, and they're the ones that happened to notice it. And this neighbor, this was at the time I was about 6 or so. This neighbor was, I think, at about junior high age, or maybe a little younger, right before he hit junior high age, somewhere along there. But me and him were just talking, having a normal conversation, and then he said something about ants. I started freaking out. The one thing I'm still trying to figure out is how did I not even feel him until he mentioned that? I mean, I've learned from multiple sources that's my adrenaline, but I'm like, how does that make you immune to pain? I mean, you can explain that until you're blue in the face, but that doesn't mean it'll make sense to me. I mean, it's like you trying to explain what E equals MC squared is to, I don't know, a 5-year-old. You can explain it to them until you're blue in the face, but that does not guarantee that they're going to understand it. Same thing with explaining anything to anyone. Just because you explain it to them doesn't mean they're going to understand it. But back to what I was saying about Slenderman, I know he's one of the beings that they say if he kills you in your dream, you're dead forever. Well, as far as I know, he actually did kill me in my dream, which in turn means that I actually survived an attack from Slenderman. But honestly, I kind of closed my eyes in the dream before he did. Or I closed my eyes at a pretty early stage, so I have no idea if he even attacked me or I just made myself wake up. But I do know this much. The dream actually occurred roughly about 3 p.m. this afternoon. I was kind of taking a little nap, and it says it's 8:13 right now, according to the clock I'm looking at, but it's a few minutes behind. According to the computer clock, it's 8:16. But, well, p.m. obviously. But, well, when I did, I'll show you basically where he was. My fist, him. My head, of course, is my head. He was this close to me when I woke up. Or when I was exiting the dream, I guess. And because I don't have that much knowledge on Slenderman, other than what he looks like, the fact that there were two girls who actually did something pretty stupid just so I could meet him, which was essentially, well, first of all, if you've heard of this story, well, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it again. If you haven't and have a kind of sensitive stomach, like me, then be my guest to not listen until I put my hand up or something. But basically, well, they basically thought that if they killed their best friend in the woods, they would be able to meet Slenderman and become his apprentices. But, yeah, I'm like, why? So, yeah. Anyways, that's all I had to say about that, but I've heard a few things about him, including legends like like most monsters and horror movie characters, attempt to kill you or something. But literally, any and every being will and can have the potential to kill you. Doesn't matter if they're good or evil. I mean, even God has that potential. Now, whether they do or not, that's a whole other story. And I know that the Endermen in Minecraft are said to be based off them. I'm not sure if that's true or not. I think I may have read somewhere that it's not. It's just pure coincidence. But either way, about all I know about him is that he's big, tall, scary, has a mansion in the woods, likes to attack children mainly, and looks like a very tall man in a suit with no face. I mean, that's pretty much all I know about him. I think I've read somewhere or heard somewhere that if he kills you in your sleep, you're dead. But, well, if that's true, actually, whether that's true or not, I'd like anyone who sees this to let me know, because that's the first time I've seen him in a dream. I mean, I've had some dreams that dealt with me trying to save the world from a zombie apocalypse. That's one thing. Being chased by a creature who could potentially kill you in your dream if you see him in your dream, that's a whole nother. Also, there is one thing on my bucket list. Speaking of things kill me and bucket list, there is actually one thing that I do want to try, but I have no idea when, let alone if I'll be able to do it. And that is, if I'm caught in a zombie apocalypse, I want to play Thriller and see what happens. Even if that means I end up dying to that song, that's fine by me. I just want to see what would happen. Because, well, let's be honest, if you played Thriller in a zombie apocalypse and the zombies start dancing, well, good news and bad news. Good news, you get basically, well, two things of good news. You basically have a whole planet doing a music video. And you just stop the zombie apocalypse. Bad news, the second the music stops or the device that you're playing it on breaks, they're going to attack you again. So, yeah. But if anyone has that information about Slenderman, please let me know. Because, well, after being attacked by him in my dream, I'm kind of a bit scared. I mean, I'm not scared of him, I'm scared of dying in my dream. Honestly, to me, that's more scary than being within 10 feet of a bomb blast or something. Or being, essentially being killed with any other possible method. Even the arthropod one I mentioned. Mainly because if you die while in a dream state, well, I know people say that if you die while you're asleep, that's less painful than if you do it when you're awake. Well, because no one that's died in their sleep has actually been able to say how much pain it is. As far as I know, it could possibly be even more painful. I know for me it would be, because if I died while I'm awake, at least then I could say goodbye to my family members. But not so much when I'm asleep. I mean, you can sleep talk, but that's not exactly an action that you can control. I've slept talk a few times in my life, but you can't exactly do it while knowing. In fact, I noticed probably, well, first of all, I see it's been 23 minutes, 47 seconds and counting, so I'm just going to say this one last thing and then end it. But basically, that reminds me of one time when I was younger. I think about 3 to 5 years ago or so, give or take a few. I was actually looking forward to having, I can't remember if it was pancakes or waffles that morning. And I remember I got up and I'm like, where are the pancakes slash waffles? My grandmother ends up saying, you told me you didn't want them. And I'm like, why would I say that? I've been looking forward to eating them for a week. And she said, I came into your room about an hour ago and you were on the edge of your bed playing your Nintendo console, which I think at the time I had a Nintendo 3DS. I honestly can't even remember, but she said I was playing that, and then she asked a question and I said no, and I'm like, how great hell could I have given an answer an hour ago if I didn't wake up until 5 minutes ago? And she said, but that's what you told me. And I'm like, You gotta be kidding me. I want my waffles / pancakes. And then, of course, she said she would be glad to fix them, but and my grandfather would not be eating because they already had breakfast. And I'm like, what's the point of any of this now? And I was looking forward to having that for breakfast with my grandparents. And then I'm being told the reason why you didn't fix it is because I said no when I was asleep while playing this game system. I'm like, how in an omniverse does that even work? I know people talk on their oh, sorry. Speaking of things you can't control, I'm really sorry about that. Not sure how loud that is on this camera. Probably won't know unless I actually watch this video myself, but if it just gave you a headache, I am really, really sorry. But I was both angry and confused because I'm like, why would I say I don't want something to eat? Even if I was sleep talking about something that I've been wanting for about a week. I mean, I've actually been wanting to have that for about a week, but I wasn't because I can't remember if it was because I kept getting sick, we didn't have the stuff, or was just waking up late. Or because I just forgot to tell my grandmother that's what I wanted for breakfast. I can't really remember, but I'd been looking forward to it for a week or more. Now, while I understand I may sometimes talk in my sleep, I was getting more mad and confused at myself than I was at my grandmother. Well, I was a bit mad and confused at my grandmother, like, why did you ask me when I was still in my room? So actually, and that happened multiple times where she'd ask me, did I want something? I'd tell her no. And then I'm like, where is the thing? Why didn't you fix it? You told me no. What do you mean I told you no? Well, I went in your room and you said no. How could I say no? I was asleep. But you just did. I mean, I'm like, why? Why would I say no? I mean, I know I talk in my sleep. I'm not going to deny that. But why would I say that I didn't want something that I was looking forward to? I mean, I know there are a lot of things in the world that make no sense, but that really, excuse the expression, takes the cake. I mean, I'm like, huh? I mean, now if it's something that I didn't even want, I could understand, but most of the time it was something like pancakes or waffles that I was looking forward to. And then I'm like, why is it not fixed? Because usually my grandmother gets the breakfast. Or at that time, usually my grandmother would get the breakfast fixed and it would already be ready by the time I got up. A lot of times I was a bit mad at that because, well, between the time that it was fixed and the time I got up, it had time to cool down and, well, I personally don't like soggy anything, unless, of course, it's cereal and my teeth are hurting, but that's a whole nother story. So, of course, I was trying to get to it to where, plus a lot of times she would actually fix it and I actually didn't even want it. So I got to the point where I'd tell her, look, if you're going to fix it, make sure you check. And then, of course, the whole sleep talking thing start happening. So I told her, how about this? You wait until I'm out of my room and then ask me. Of course, there was also the case of sleepwalking. I've never done, well, not that I know of. If I have, more than likely it's only been in the house and everyone else is asleep, so therefore I have no witnesses of that except maybe God or the spirit of any dead family member, or maybe even just random arthropods / single-celled organisms that live in the house. I mean, that's probably all I have as witnesses. And, well, you can't exactly speak to them and get a direct answer. I mean, you can speak to them, but doesn't mean that you're going to be able to understand their language. Now, God and any random spirit God, you're only going to be able to hear him if he actually wants you to. Same thing with any random spirit, good or evil, including demons. But then again, if it's a demon, how would you know if they're telling the truth or not? Well, I actually do have a method, and that's by essentially telling and saying something like, in the name of God, give me the answer truthfully, or something like that. I remember seeing it in another video somewhere with someone thinking that he's talking to God and then found out he's talking to Satan, who is pretending to be God, but that's beside the point. Anyways, that whole Slenderman thing, that scared the living daylights out of me. And let's be honest, who wouldn't be so scared that they couldn't go back to sleep after having a dream with Slenderman? Especially in one where he almost kills you. The one thing I'm trying to figure out, though, is why was I even having a dream with Slenderman in it? And before you start saying, oh, it was in your subconscious and you were thinking about it or something like that, actually, no. When I went to sleep, the thing I was thinking of, which, by the way, this is the last thing, or should be, unless I get completely distracted again, so sorry about it taking so long. But anyways, when I went to sleep, I was thinking about making another mod pack to add on to my, let's see how many mod packs there are now. Mega Mobs, Arthropod Mania, Sweet Treats, Battle Adventure, Gamers Paradise. Sorry. And excuse me too. Holiday Adventure, Extreme Oceans, The Final Craftier, Legends Galore, Crossover Mania, Pokemon, Anime Adventure, Sci-Fi Mania, and Crazy Luck. I'm also planning on adding another one, which would bring me up to a grand total of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 mod packs. I was trying to think of the name for it. And before you start saying, were you going to add a Slenderman mod? Actually, no. I was thinking of a name to call a mod pack that I was going to add mods like exotic birds, the butterflies mod, more animals, more biomes, underground biomes, and obviously tree captator. I mean, I'm going to put that in every one of my mod packs just simply because, hello, who wants to spend all that time going chop, 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 bing, chop, 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 bing, all the way up to the top of a tree where you could just go chop, 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 bing, yay, free wood. I mean, seriously. What I don't understand is, out of every single mod I've seen, there are a few mods that I'm like, why don't they just put this into Minecraft to begin with? The tree captator is one of them. The other one, or other ones, being more biomes, underground biomes, and the one that implements the dragons. The rideable dragon mod, I think. I can't remember what it's called, but if you have seen Dane TDM doing a mod review with a skeleton dragon, that's the one I'm talking about. Why don't they already have that implemented, I mean? So, I was trying to think of a name for that. I was thinking something like Explorers Mania or Safari Craft. I was having a lot of trouble because I didn't know, because I know that there are some mod pack names that are either already taken by another mod pack or by another mod itself. So, yeah. I was trying to think of that, and I don't know where Slenderman even came into the equation, but that was scary. I mean, walking by your room in broad daylight and seeing Slenderman sitting there, then you're going to a room to talk to your grandparents, or grandfather in my case, and then you get attacked by Slenderman. That has scary craziness written all over it. I mean, that's coming from a guy who's had multiple dreams where the light switches in the house for some reason don't work. It's in the middle of the night and you're trying to outrun a shadow. And before you start saying, that's kind of childish, that you'd have a dream and you're done with high school, well, I never said when, now did I? Truth be told, most of those dreams actually occurred back when I was somewhere between the ages of 5 and 10, before I got over my fear of the darkness. It is kind of a reoccurring fear, especially after my mom's cat, which then kind of became the family's cat named Precious, died. Of course, I don't know if you can see this, but see that white border on the floor? Okay, yeah, I can't really point that well, but if you can see the bottom of the wall, you see a white border. The cat was white. When the lights are off, it sometimes looks like the cat is right there. And seeing what looks like, well, something that is dead, and you know is dead, looks like it's alive, that kind of gets freaky, especially when sometimes when I was younger, the lights would be off, and then, I don't know, I was walking through the house, trying for something or other, and I had to watch out and not step on the cat. I mean, I remember one time I actually accidentally stepped on her tail, and that scared the living donuts out of me. And when I was younger, like up until about the last 5 years of her life, anytime I went anywhere near her, she would hiss and essentially almost attack me any time. And of course, a few nights after she died, I actually had a dream where I was being attacked by a demon cat. And I've had, or that she turned into a demon cat and was crawling on the ceiling with the whole head turning 360 degrees and then attacked me, saying, I mean, yeah, that's not exactly a good image. And I actually had a few other dreams when there were evil clones of her. I was actually talking to her, trying to set up a battle strategy. She talked back, and we defeated the evil clones, but that was more fun than it was scary. But anyways, those dreams were pretty crazy, especially when I remember there was one that had XJ9 in there. If you've seen My Life as a Teenage Robot, you know who that is. For some reason, she was going on an interdimensional tour guide, or she was an interdimensional tour guide showing people from other realities our house, or she was on an interdimensional tour with someone else showing us the house. I can't really remember, but I do know I asked her did she have a flashlight attachment and could she help me find my way to my grandparents' room. And she said, leave all questions to... Yeah, I think she was the tour guide because I think she said, leave all questions to the end of the tour. And I'm like, look, I'm not here on a tour. This is my own house. And then she said, why don't I just turn the light on? Then I, of course, said, okay, you turn it on. Then it was like, why me? Because I just did and the thing's not working. Why would it not be working? Are you sure you turned it on and not off? Okay, if the light was off to begin with, then would it matter if I turned it on or off? I mean, I can't turn it off if the thing's not on. So she flicked it a few times and found out it wasn't even working. She tried to, and then that was really weird. Okay. If you want to know what I'm talking about, I just was staring at the computer screen and saw a red zigzag going across the screen. Okay. Anyways, dreams like that. I've actually had a few dreams even now where I stick my hand into a dark room, something grabs me, and then I wake up. Dreams like that are just as scary as the Slenderman dream, if not slightly a bit more. I mean, it's one thing when you see what's happening, it's a whole nother when you don't. But if you have any information about Slenderman, please let me know. I haven't bothered doing research. I don't need super graphic information. I just need to know, is he one of the ones that can actually kill you in your dream? So, yeah, sorry if this was a bit scary and or a bit off topic, but, well, after being woken up due to Slenderman attacking you, yeah, you kind of don't want to be reminded about that. Unless, of course, maybe you're a monster hunter or something, but still. Anyways, bye. Speak to you guys later, and to any of my subscribers, thanks for watching. Excuse me. And please pray about that. I seriously don't know what's causing that now. I'm willing to bet it's my bed because this thing is so rock hard and stiff. Sleeping on the floor is more comfortable. I mean, you know your bed is not comfortable when that happens. Also, it doesn't help when almost every time I try to sit up, I almost vomit the last thing I had to eat. I mean, when you get in bed, you kind of want to, I don't know, be so comfortable you go to sleep. Not have so much pain on your stomach you're near about vomit. I mean, unless you're completely and utterly disturbed in the mind, no one wants that. Either that or you're a doctor, someone who doesn't mind stuff being gross, but that's beside the point. Anyways, bye. Speak to you guys later, and hopefully I can get some more video ideas and get done making these mod packs. Because, well, believe me, when I finish, they are going to be pretty interesting. And I'm going to do essentially a Let's Play on all of them, as well as maybe a few Let's Plays on just normal vanilla Minecraft throughout each of its versions, for people who don't know how to operate a certain version, and as practice for myself. I'm not really sure. I haven't really made my decision about that, but either way, speak to you guys later. Bye, and I hope someone out there can give me the answer I need, or answers, rather. Anyways, bye.